2 years ago, my brother died in the summer, 57 years old, a heart attack. And just this past month, Kevin's brother died at 6 years old. And, I had been through that experience already. And so I was able to care for and be there for Kevin in a way that was different, right? Then he wasn't really able to be there for me because he hadn't been through that experience. And so there's all this, I'm going to use the word grace, like a willingness to be open and give comfort. And I don't know how to even explain the word grace, but it's a gentleness maybe with the other person, because we can't expect something from someone that they don't know or they haven't experienced themselves or they don't have in their own arsenal, right? So after Kevin's brother died, it was so clear that then he knew how I felt a couple of years ago, right? And so there's this understanding that you can't expect more from a person than they have within them, and giving space and time and openness to allow that person to be where they are, be different. Like you said, we're so different. And so that allows us to bring gifts to each other. Like I could bring that gift of deep compassion to Kevin, and then you're now learning that gift of deep compassion, right? In a really painful way. Like no one wants to walk through deeper, harder journeys. But when we do, we get all of these gifts that are then for the other people. So I think that's a beautiful thing about expectation. Like we always can have fun together because we both love fun and we can expect fun. And when we go out on a hike, we always have a blast, right? But then there are these other, that's the mountaintop experience, right? But then when you're in the valley, you have to be able to be very gentle with each other because we don't always have everything we need. And that is another one of our goals of this podcast, is really to be able to give some of the tools that are needed in the harder journeys of life, in the difficult seasons, right?
Yeah, I think our intention is to, well, first of all, to journey this life together and continue to do that. So as non-experts, but as people that have a lot of experience and wisdom just from living life well, I think we're going to be pretty transparent. We're going to be relatively vulnerable. We may tear up a little bit. We'll certainly laugh a bunch. But I think the goal is to kind of walk through that what I believe every couple needs to navigate if you want to go through life together, right? And so that's kind of where you have to start. Are we in it together? Which goes back to the goal setting, to everything. Like, you're the one, and I'm committed to you, and we're going to do this. And so there's a lot to this process, but I think that, yeah, even as, again, my brother passing just a few weeks back is really heart-wrenching. And now, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's why you were so upset 3 weeks later. I'm like, okay, and I mean, that's how I'd never experienced. I had no framework to really deal with what it's like to lose somebody that you love and is very close to you, out of order, out of sequence, right? His younger brother. And so that was devastating. And now I'm much more empathetic. Of course, I can't go back 2 years ago, but I can say, I get it now. And I'm so grateful that you were kind to me as I was walking through it, and you weren't saying, see how I felt, right? You didn't make it about you. You just kindly, gently walked me through it. You traveled with me. You took enormous, it was really hard on you physically to do the trip that you did, given the fact that you were taking another trip 2 days later. But to join me and to be with me on the journey, when I didn't necessarily even know I needed. In fact, I didn't know I needed. I was like, I'll be fine. And you're like, oh no, you won't. Right? I mean, literally, like, because I get this companion pass that you can come along, and I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. And you're like, no, I'm coming.
And that's a great point. Like, I have a companion pass on Kevin's flights, right? And that to me is what marriage is. Like, it's a companion pass. And I can choose to go on the journey, this journey of grief with Kevin, to say goodbye to his brother. Or I could have chosen to stay home and get ready for my trip to Spain to walk the Camino way. Would have been so much easier to kind of put, a little bit of like, hey, I need space. I need this for myself. But that's what it means to be a companion, is to literally, in some sense, lay down your life for another. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful picture of what it is to say, okay, this is the journey that I'm going on. Do you want to come along? And every time when you choose the other, you actually choose yourself, because you're building a stronger bond. And I think that's the beautiful part about a strong marriage. And it does take two healthy people. It isn't just that you can kind of drag someone along. Like when I was walking the Camino Way, there were so many times there were people that were lagging behind the others, and you can't take a journey for another person. Like I can't walk Kevin's grief. I can walk alongside of him. He couldn't walk my grief. He walked alongside of me. And I think this is an important part about marriage as well, is we have to take care of our own emotional health and then bring that healthiness to the marriage. Or else say to the other, hey, looks like you need a little help there, right? Like it's okay to ask for help even outside of a marriage.
And if you want to learn more about what we're about, go to the inspiredroad.com and click on the Inspired Marriage link. And there you can see additional resources and even an opportunity to sign up for one of our seminars and retreats.
Thanks for joining us.
Have a great day.